On this episode of the OddManOut podcast, we're talking about layoffs. Yes, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, a bunch of companies are going through layoffs right now. So this episode, we wanted to talk about how you can better protect yourself from future layoffs and what to do if you find yourself laid off from a job. If you like this episode, make sure to give it a 5-star review and follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@OddManOutStudio, where we post daily content to help you become a better content creator. What is up? What is up? Yo! All right, everybody can hear me. Sid, you can hear me? You can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah, can
Saban.
you hear me?
I can hear you. Saban, what episode are we on? What number, dude? What number do we hit?
9.
Let's go, dude. We're on episode number 9. And it's a big day. Not because it's episode number 9, but today's a big day, Saban. We are officially both laid off. Congrats.
Let's go!
No, that's not. I don't know why we're cheering for that. That's not a good thing.
I don't know either. It just felt like the mood.
No, it's opportunity. So gang. So welcome to the OddManOut podcast. I'm joined today by my amazing co-host, Just Saban. Guys, the OddManOut podcast. We talk about everything creator economy. If you're new to the channel, we are a newly started media studio. So we are officially a company in the state of Georgia, which is really cool. I have the paperwork coming. But we focus on everything creator economy and teaching you how to thrive in tomorrow's world. I
feel like that deserves a real round of applause.
A real round of applause. Yes, we are officially a business. So I wanted to take today's episode. Saban has an amazing list of topics. Today, we're going to talk about layoffs, Saban, because that is something we both can now talk about. Is this the first time you were laid off?
It is, yeah. Or fired, anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not the first time I've been fired. So we're going to talk about that, guys. But first, we're going to get into Saban. I know you know this, but I haven't officially announced this to anybody. This is my new brand. Are you ready for my new brand?
I'm so ready.
All right. So I'm really sorry, Mom, but I had an interview for a potential position to be some sort of director. I am turning down a base salary of $140,000 to do this. This is what we're doing. So I'm really sorry, Mom. I'm really sorry. I got the second interview for this company. They wanted me to move to Texas, or potentially, right? They wanted me to interview to move to Texas and run a YouTube channel. Starting salary about $140,000 a year. I said, hey, I want to take for the next couple months, 6 months, to get OddManOut going. Yeah. So I'm really sorry, Mom, but this is what I'm doing. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to put skin in the game. I saved enough money to get us going until October. So OddManOut Studios is a legal entity. We have enough money to get us until October, and we're gonna make it happen. So that's the exciting announcement. Saban has known this for a while, but it is official. I am, we're the company is founded. So
full
sending it. So that means, guys, every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna be having this podcast. We're gonna be changing some things. So the video podcast you can catch live. If you're here, welcome. You can ask us questions. You can subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, we're now on Spotify. We're now on Google Podcast. And I got us on Apple Podcast, Saban.
Let's go. Neither of us even have an iPhone, and we're on there.
We don't even have an iPhone, but we're going to give you guys that's it. So video podcast, we will be changing. We will be doing only audio from now on. If you want to catch the video, you have to come live on Wednesdays at 10:30, or subscribe to our YouTube channel where Saban creates daily content. So if you want to see the clips from today's shows, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at OddManOut Studio. So yeah, we're not gating any of our content. You will always be able to listen to it on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. For the video experience, though, we will be creating we're working on it. I think we're going to make a cool little Patreon, because me and Saban need money. Me and Saban need to
at least a
money.
little.
A little bit. I don't need a lot. We just need enough to pay our bills. All of that is coming down the pipeline, and I'm super excited to tell you guys two big things. Saban may or may not know these. One, I am currently working on a series of workshops. If you don't have a YouTube channel, or you have a YouTube channel and you've never posted, or only posted once, or gave up, or cried, any of the above, I'm offering a workshop series from soup to nuts. I think that's the saying. From start to finish. From soup to nuts. From starts to finish. We're gonna build your YouTube channel, and you will walk away with a content strategy, a branded YouTube channel with logo, banner, art, content strategy, format, and you'll be walking away with 10 free videos of your own.
I mean, that just sounds like a bargain.
It's
That
a
sounds
huge
like
bargain.
an awesome
So,
opportunity.
yeah, so I'm building that. It'll be super affordable. Again, we're trying to monetize, trying to make sure that we are staying afloat and helping you guys. That's announcement number one. Announcement number two, there may, Saban, or may not, be an OddManOut Studios app that will be developed at the end of 2023. Yes, my plan for year one is to create a product that is an application that is OddManOut branded. I'm working with app developers to get this designed. We're building an app for content creators. That's all I can say about it. Saban may know the details, but we're building something that is going to help content creators survive the burnout, right? So like content creation takes a lot of time. It doesn't take just a year, it takes more. So I'm building an app where we'll make that fun and enjoyable. So stay tuned, guys.
Build a lot of motivation. Should people working together, grinding, give them a little something extra to work on. I'm excited. Just from the little bit I've heard, I'm sure Danny has a big vision for it.
Oh yeah, so we're doing a lot of cool stuff. Now I can fully dedicate my 60 hours a week to OddManOut. Really, really excited. I want to thank you, Saban, for being here on the journey. And dude, my senior producer, I'm super pumped to get stuff going. Saban has his own series in the works. I think. Do you have scripts done for it?
I do. I have a few scripts. Yeah. Yeah. I just need to record them, honestly.
Dude, we got to get you recording. All right. So like I said, guys, that's enough about OddManOut Studios. We are officially a business. We will be coming out with products and courses and workshops. This week I'm taking a little bit of a break. We're gonna get soft launch because we haven't had a vacation in a while. So long weekend next week. Be on the lookout. Follow us on LinkedIn at OddManOut Studios. That's it. Let's talk about layoffs, Saban.
Yeah. All right.
Let's talk about
That's the top of my list.
Yeah. So Saban, this is your first time being fired, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's it like, dude? So first off, I want to start with I speak for myself, maybe not for Saban. I have no hard feelings. The economy is tough. The economy is hard. I want to start with anything said in the podcast moving forward or in the past. No hard feelings. I love where we came from. I wish everybody the best. I've learned so much. We've kept really good relationships with everybody. Take everything we're saying today as optimism. We're not actually here to shit on people. We're really, really excited. I think we have a lot of opportunities. So, without further ado, Saban, what's it like being fired? I think that's something that a lot of people haven't had to do, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but the second half of 2023, there's going to be more. We've had 46,000 layoffs in the past quarter, according to some LinkedIn posts that I haven't fact-checked, but that's a lot of layoffs. So we want to help you guys prepare for hopefully you don't get laid off, but we want to make sure you're prepared. So let's start with how it feels to get laid off. Let's talk about it.
I want to reiterate as well that I have no hard feelings. We worked at the same company as well for I think 5-6 months. And it was a great time. I loved it there. No hard feelings. The economy's kind of in the pooper. Shit happens, It was weird. It was very, very awkward. I will say that. I was out with my mom, actually, right beforehand. I was on a walk with my mom. And then I get a message asking if I can come into this meeting. And I'm like, that's weird. And it was right at the end of the walk with my mom. And I saw HR was on the car. And I was like, okay, this doesn't feel normal at all. So I'm in the car by myself. My mom's like 5 feet away from me in her car, right?
Yeah.
And it's this somber situation, dude. Like everybody in the call looks super sad. They're like, "Hey, Sabin, we have to talk about some things." I text my mom. I'm like, "I think I'm getting fired right now."
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. um,
And oh
dude,
man,
after your walk, because I do remember you're like, yeah, I'm walking with my mom and saying goodbye while I'm taking a call, and you're just like, hold on, like I'm doing this real quick. Um, so you got fired in front of your mom. That's pretty cool.
yeah, that was an experience. It made it a lot easier though, because after it happened, I literally just went into her call and I was like, "Yeah, so
Yeah. What do I do
I
now?
guess I got laid off." Awkward.
Yeah. What do you like? What is that? And you don't have to get super deep, but like, what does a conversation look like? Like after that, like, I do remember like you got laid off, and then
Mhm.
we called like I called you pretty much, or did I call you or you called me? I was like, hey,
You
just call
told
me
me
when
to
you're
call
done.
you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, hey, I knew I got told like 20 minutes before that happened. So I was like, shit, well, I can't say anything to them until it happens, but I did reach out to everybody and say, hey, call me today when you get a chance. That's what
yeah.
I left it at. So like yeah, it's sad, but it's super important to like talk about. It does feel like the emotional part of it. Like, what did you do for the rest of that day? Like, is there anything you did? Like, how do you think you handled it? I don't know.
Um,
Like, I have like what I did, but like I want to know what you did. So you get in the car and you're like, all right, cool, I'm let go. Like, where do you go from there?
yeah, well, it was really weird because I was in the process of doing like a bunch of stuff. Like I was in the middle of like a ton of different edits for a bunch of different stuff. And after they told me I was like, yeah, like my immediate question was, so what should I do with all the stuff I've been working on? It's like, do you want me to finish stuff? And they're like, homie, you can stop working. Like it's over.
Yeah, yeah. It's that
um,
grind mentality, dude. You're like, are you sure
Honestly,
you don't
I was
want
like, "What
this?
can I help with?" So this is, like, completely in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
But no, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna take away all your shit in 30 minutes," and I was like, "I'm not even gonna get home in 30 minutes. Can you wait a little bit?"
Right, right.
So they did extend it for a little bit, which was nice, but yeah, they felt really bad. They're like, "It's not because it wasn't because of my skill. Everybody, okay, I want it to be
Yeah.
known. I'm not a shit editor. Okay,
No,
I'm
no, I wouldn't
crazy
have
with
kept
it."
you.
Okay. But it was that they weren't doing the more labor intensive editing that they needed anymore, which is what I was there to do. And
Mm-hmm.
they felt like everything that they could do could just be contracted out, which is totally valid because what they were leaving definitely could be contracted out. But it sucked for sure. I felt like we were
Yeah.
finally like going somewhere, and then it kind of got cut short. But we were,
Dude, we
it was
were
a weird
grinding those
situation.
last
We
two
were
weeks, dude.
grinding.
The last 3 or 4 weeks. So, like, me and
Oh,
Saban were working in the same department that was super innovative, right? So, I can't talk about what we were doing, but we were doing shit that, like, I have to say, Saban was editing content that, like, nobody gets to edit, like, ever. There's, like, only, like, 4 or 5 of these types of, like, channels out there. Uh, and we were figuring out the content strategy of, like, growth. And those last 4 weeks, Saban was pumping like, dude, 30 videos a week because I needed to post 5 times a day because we were figuring it out. Like, dude, we were
yeah.
figuring out YouTube Shorts. We were going up hundreds of subscribers. Like, it was going and working, and now we were just like in the muscle building part. But yeah, the economy, kind of took like in this economy, companies are really focused on profit. They have to be. And like YouTube channels, we weren't monetized, so we didn't bring in any money. Um, and the money that we did bring in, we did generate like $200,000 off of the IP,
Yeah.
like something around that range. Like I think, but the part that we were doing did not, so it made
Yeah.
sense. Um,
Most of the easy edit stuff was what
yeah,
was
yeah.
generating money, so they were like it made sense. I wasn't really too upset when it happened, even
Mhm.
though the most upsetting thing for me was that I wouldn't be working with you, and our department was very small, so it was like 4 or 5 people, so I was more so just upset that I wouldn't be working closely with that tight-knit group of people,
Yeah, yeah, we had a
anymore.
small team. Yep.
Yeah, but,
Well, and we all
I feel
talked
like we
like
did a
every
lot.
day, you know?
Right, it was a weird
Yeah.
transition, just being like, "Well, now what do I do?"
Yeah.
I was editing, like, 30 videos a day to now, like,
What do I do?
"What do I do, man?"
Yeah. No, it's like, dude, what I've learned, because like this was not the first wave of layoffs either, right? Like me and Saban survived a wave. I think you were there when we had layoffs
Yeah.
before. Um, and and this is why like I wanted to ask you like how you felt, because I during the first wave of layoffs fucked up, right? And this is what like why I wanted to talk about this was when layoffs happen, a lot of people, and you don't have to work at a company for very long for this to like actually get to this level, but people say that like when you get fired or when a colleague is let go, uh it is like your body receives that as like a loss of life, right? So like when you get fired or your friend gets laid off, there's an actual, I didn't know this, you actually go through a grieving process. And what's really hard for people like us is like you said, like, hey, what do I do next? Like, we need something to grind on. And so the reason I say that I fucked up during the first round of layoffs is the day after we jumped in, right? We were like, all right, cool, like let's just grind the content. And I didn't give myself time to process, right? So like I wanted to give that tip. It's like an emotional hit. Like you're losing people who you probably are close to. It's like the death of a friend, even though they're not dead. You still like have to give yourself time to grieve and time to reacclimate. And I should have taken a week off, right? Like, and I didn't. Like, we took that day off. That the first round of layoffs, like everybody was like, "Hey, we're done working," but you have to really give yourself like a few days, dude. If you can afford it, a week, because you have to emotionally sort through. Like, you have to go through the shock phase. It's like the stages of grief: the denial phase, then the being angry phase, the being sad phase, and then the acceptance, right? Like there's like steps to it. And my advice to everybody is like, if you are impacted by layoffs, you need to, if you can afford it, seek therapy. But if you can't, step away from whatever the fuck you're doing and give yourself time. Because no matter how much of a grinder you think you are, I can tell you I cried more like consecutively after those layoffs because I didn't give myself time than I would have if I just fucking tackled the feelings right off the rip. So like
100%.
processing. That's why I asked you like what did you do afterwards? Did you give yourself time, or like what did you, so like they said you're not working anymore, you can stop. Like how long, like what did you, like how long did you take time off? Did you kind of just throw yourself in? What did you do personally? I
Uh,
know we had OddManOut, so it was a little
yeah,
different.
I took the day off because that just felt right. Even though like after it happened, like I kind of like wanted to grind even more. I was like, now I need to get myself back in there. Not in that company necessarily, but just like in the working game, doing something. That felt like the right thing to do. But it took a toll for sure, just because like even though I'm still friends with all those people we worked with, or I'd consider us still friends, obviously. Like you're just not communicating or talking to them nearly as much when you're not working with them. Like
Right.
we still talk a lot, but we're like starting a business together, so like it makes sense
Yeah.
like, talking and communicating a lot. But like our other close friend, even the one who I'd consider close between the two of us, like I don't talk to him
Yeah.
nearly as much now that we don't work together.
Yeah.
And I try to make a point to talk to him more, and I still don't as much, just because you got to take time out of your day now. Assuming you're also working a different job now, you have to take extra time out of your day to communicate with these people. So it is a lot like a loss, and it sucks. I think a big thing was not isolating myself as much,
Yeah.
which is what I wanted to do.
Yep.
Kind of like that. Even though it was layoffs, like I said, I wasn't fired because as bad as just layoffs happen. Like it was
Mhm.
like a shame thing, Like I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
talk about it. I don't really want to like. It's hard to talk about, Layoffs
Well,
are
yeah,
hard to
because you
talk about.
feel like you failed because you're like, "Oh, I got
Yeah.
laid off,"
No matter
and
how many times the bosses tell
right.
you it's not your fault, it's like, well, it's kind of my fault because, if I was worth keeping around, then I wouldn't be
Yeah.
getting laid off. Even though
Yeah.
sometimes that's out of your control. Like, just
Completely.
as
Completely.
all of the video editors in the company pretty much got laid off
Yep.
for the same reason, regardless of any of our skill levels or what we were doing.
Yeah.
And that's just, and that honestly, that made it a lot easier to cope with because I was like, like I can only control so much,
Right, and you're not
and
the only
getting laid
one.
off. Exactly, right?
So
Like it
you're like,
wasn't a
"Alright."
targeted thing. You gotta rebound. And looking for work now, it's fucking hard. I
Oh, yeah.
will say that. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
still haven't found a full-time job, and
Yep.
it's not like I haven't been applying, but I think contracting is a huge thing right now. Like I've still been doing some freelancing, and I
Right.
think the company kept contractors for that reason. I think if you are a creative who's like a designer or an editor or producer, like definitely
There's
take
opportunity.
contracting and freelancing seriously. Because and this is something Danny and I talked about a little bit after I was laid off, is that like it is definitely coming to like companies don't want to full on commit to hiring a ton of people. They're going to just contract
Yep.
what they think they need. And then, like, I was contracted originally for our project. I was
Right.
contracted for 6 months before they brought me on full time. Because
Hmm.
after that 6 months, they were like, okay, this guy is definitely worth keeping.
Right. Right. And that's like, dude, so true. Like we are heading into, I mean, we were in it, we're in a gig economy, and my prediction, the reason why I'm starting Odd Man Out now, because like I don't know if a lot of people know this, Saban knows this, but like Odd Man Out we created in 2019, 2020. I think it was 2019. I can't
Yeah.
actually remember the first day, but it was like holy shit, 5 years ago. Odd Man Out, when I first started it, was like we had 10 streamers who we tried to build brands for, because I didn't realize how hard it was to build 10 fucking brands at one time. But Odd Man Out started like 5 years ago under the same philosophy that the power of the individual creator was what was gonna win out. Like that was my thesis. And 5 years later, 4 years later, I'm bad at math. 4 years later, we're living through it, right? Like you're doing more gigs than you are doing salaried work. Like I'm now unemployed and starting a business, and I'm gonna do a gig economy based like company, because I personally, and this is like what I think was creating some friction even while I was still working, was and this is a bold claim, believe that agency work in the next 10 years will fizzle and die. I don't think that, and again, not to shit on agencies and digital marketing firms, like they will be around for a while. There will always be like the legacy system that needs that, but the individual content creator is about to pop the fuck off, because McDonald's is not going to go through an agency for much longer. McDonald's is just going to call up Kirby Lane directly, and they're going to say, "Hey, we want to make a video." Because that person already knows how to make a TikTok, can edit the TikTok, can do the sound for the TikTok, can upload. You don't need the agency part. You just don't. It's a middleman that you're paying to connect you to these people. As these companies start to learn more about the creator economy through watching like shows like ours, like that's why we're doing what we're doing. So that McDonald's, hey, when you're listening to us, like go right to us. Don't go to the agency, because you're paying a 20% markup, and it becomes just a money game. um, so that's what the thesis of Odd Man Out is built on. It's that the creator will be more powerful than the agency. And media agencies, in my prediction, will just be YouTube channels. I'm calling it now.
Yeah. And I think nowadays there's so many people who have grown in this day and age of like content creation that there are people, not a ton, but there are more people who are like you and me who like one of these famous creators could very easily just hire a you and me as two
Yep.
individuals, and they'd accomplish just as much and they'd get the results they're looking for, if anything more authentic, because they're people who've grown in this industry from the industry without having to deal with all of these agency personnels and all of these people you don't want to deal with, like CEOs taking huge percentages. Like you can
Yep.
just pay the two people their salary. This is your person who's going to edit and look at analytics and make sure that their edits are improving for that. This is your person who's going to focus on your posting, your promotions, etc. And I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
that's like 90, 100K a year, something like that, instead of allowing these agencies to take like 20% of all of your whatever.
Right, right. And again, like I'm not here to shit on agencies. I think they will be an important part of the economy.
And they have their
But
purpose.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have their place. Like you're gonna have to have these editing workshops that just go out. But yeah, I mean, like we're predicated. We're trying to position and we're jockeying for position for the future of the creator economy. And my prediction is in the next 3 years, nobody's gonna hire Odd Man Out Studios as an agency. They're gonna hire Odd Man Out Studios because within our studio we will have a TikTok specialist, right? Like we're just gonna put a TikTok specialist on your channel. We're just good. Like there's no reason for me to be touching it, right? Um, yeah. So that I'm trying to segue that. That's a really good point. Contract work. So
Yeah.
we talked about how the layoffs are coming. Guys, 2023, we've had 46,000 layoffs in Q1, I think. Again, don't quote me.
At least a LinkedIn post said that.
A LinkedIn post told me that. JB Prodigy, what's up, buddy? I miss you. We gotta talk soon, JB. So layoffs are coming, guys. Like it is. I don't want to be that dark horse that is gonna be like doom saying, but it's coming. Like I can tell you, I'm talking to clients right now. I'm talking to these companies. They are worried about money. They are. So layoffs are still coming. I want to use our platform to help you guys position yourselves for success. So Sabin, when we're talking about positioning for success, say we're talking to our audience is editors, thumbnail designers, companies that are interested in breaking into the economy. You've already talked on tip number 1, contract work. So Sabin, I'll leave that to Sabin. How do you get contract? How do you personally, Sabin, get contract work? Because you're doing it right now. So let's do that, and then I'll get into some other tactical tips.
One huge thing, make a reel or a portfolio, whatever your focus is. Just make something that it's really easy for any hiring manager or any application to just very easily see all the different stuff you can provide. I think my reel is like 1 minute and 40 seconds, and it covers like 6 different types of content creation that I can do, which I think is great that they can see all of that in one place. But another thing is whatever industry you want to work in. So, like, I work in esports quite a bit, for instance. Follow all of the creative directors on Twitter, or if you're in a more professional industry, LinkedIn for sure. But like, I follow like Xset, Phase, Optic, all of their producers, their senior creative directors, because those are people who very often are posting like, hey, I'm looking for somebody to do this one-off gig.
Yes.
DM me your resume, or, whatever. And I've gotten work that way. I mean, that's how I got work with the LA Gorillas, the Call of Duty League team. There's another big team, which I won't talk about now because it's still in the process of being worked out. But there was a very big team creative director who tweeted out he needed work. I DM'd him on Twitter. He said he thinks would be a good fit. And now we're discussing a contract to do some stuff. So
and it's all because you followed him and you saw his post, right?
Dude, and when I followed him, he saw me and he's like, okay, this is creative.
And then he sees you doing this every day. Sabin has like work samples. It's really funny because Jay's in the chat. That's how Jay hired me, dude. I was working at Sabin's college. I was getting fired. And then Jay posted, hey, I'm getting promoted. Somebody needs to take my role. And I had been following JB, shout outs, on Twitter. And I was like, dude, you make great fucking content. I was watching it. I think I could do that. DM'd him, and then boom, I worked for the Atlanta Reign for like a year and some change. Definitely follow. Yo, what's up? Yo, Meme Lord Madalena. I love it. Welcome. I love the fucking name, Madalena. Let's go.
That's great.
Madalena. So yeah, I cannot understate the value of following creative directors, the people who are making the hiring decisions. Sabin's preferred platform is Twitter, which is great. Twitter's where like the boots are on the ground. My add-on to that tip is get on LinkedIn, dude. Like Sabin has recently got on LinkedIn, and his posts are starting to do really well because he's just posting what he's doing with OddManOut, and he's posting like his thoughts as an editor. And there's not enough editors on LinkedIn right now. So pro tip, if you're a creative, go post your shit on LinkedIn. They need content. Like they're out. Everybody's doing text posts. Like all the CEOs and people they're all doing text posts and carousels. Get in there and put a video, and I guarantee you, like, that's where a lot of my leads are coming from, including the 6-figure salary. Sorry, Mom, that I'm turning down. Anywho, so yeah, like definitely a real following the right people. That's called networking. We're going to do a whole episode on that most likely. Get yourself on LinkedIn. Now, let's say, Sabin, for the sake of tactical prowess, I don't know what the words are anymore. So sure. say you're employed. Let's say you survived all of the axe cuttings.
Okay.
You're good, right? You're safe, right? You got a salary, you got maybe your health benefits, and the world is all good. The layoffs won't affect you, right?
for
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So now let's get into the section, guys, where like if you are currently in a safe job, don't quit. Don't do it. Keep your jobs. But I want to talk about building on the side, right? I think that people underestimate how many hours a day they truly, truly have. I was waking up, and again, you don't have to do it this way, but for like 5 hours of extra work a week, we made OddManOut run. Like, so,
Yeah.
like, for the past month, or we were going on 2 months for OddManOut. I was working my full-time salary job and building this. And the importance of doing that, like now we're set up, we are positioned as a studio. We already have a following. I already have enough like engagement and views on the content to like get us sponsors, because we were building on the side. So if you're in that job right now and you're safe, you're making a salary, a couple of tips: save your cash. Don't put it into, again, not investment advice. Like, don't, this is not a financial channel, not financial advice. Save as much money as you can. Like, you want to build what's called your nest egg. Yeah, Saban has his in Pokemon cards.
These are my assets, everyone. Good
So-
investment.
So, yeah, save your cash, dude. Like, save your money. If you guys are in a salaried job, you want to give yourself 3 months of expenses, in savings, right? So I had been doing that for the past month. I kind of saw writing on the wall, and I was like, hey, I'm not necessarily where I want to be. And then I said, all right, cool. I need X amount of dollars to get out. And now OddManOut has startup capital, right? Because I have my bills paid. We have enough runway to get us to October because I didn't let off the gas during employment, right? So tip number 1, build on the side. You guys have a lot of hours. Wake up early, get up a couple hours before your job starts, grind maybe an hour on your side hustle, do your 9 to 5, 5:30, go eat some dinner, come back at 7, and from 7 to 9, dude, there's your 10 hours a week, and I guarantee you, as long as you go in with a plan, you will have like something. You'll have an asset that you can leverage should the layoffs catch up. Saban, what do you have on that specific topic of like building while employed? Because you were doing work while employed too.
Yeah, while I was working full time at the company Danny and I were working at, I was freelancing the whole time with one esports team out in LA. And then I was also doing some social media management work on the side. And I was running my own esports team, actually, which I still run on the side. So, a huge, super underrated tip as a creative in the industry: time management, insanely valuable. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how fast you are. Like, if you're good at managing your time, you can get your stuff done. You just need to know what you're capable of. I write a list every day. I say this is my Wednesday list. And normally what I do is I'll just write from my last list. I'll just add onto it and erase what I did. So then I'm like, if I didn't complete this Tuesday, it's already on my Wednesday list now. There you go.
Genius.
And I get so much done. Even when I was working full time, like I was cranking out like 20 videos a day, and I'd have like an hour where I was playing a video game during the workday. And I'd be working on all these other brands as well, just because I was deathly efficient with what I could do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like the power, guys. Like, if you go into a job, become as efficient as you can at that job, then you will immediately free up time, right? So, like, everything, if you're not earning money, you should be learning, right? So you're either earning or you're learning in a job. Ideally, both. Saban was earning and learning. I think he learned some stuff. Who knows?
I learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, dude, your edits are crazy. Like, you were a good editor before, but like Saban can now pump them because he was earning and learning at the same time. So, guys, the moral of that is like, yes, you may be in a job that's safe, but like, look at the layoffs that have been happening. Google just had layoffs. Apple just had layoffs. Or did Apple have layoffs? I don't know. The CEO took a 98% pay cut, for PR. But
Twitter's been having them.
Twitter's had layoffs. Amazon had layoffs. 46,000 layoffs in Q1, I believe. Again, not my fact. It was on LinkedIn, so it must be true.
It's got to be at least a little valid.
But guys, like if you honestly think your company is safer than Google, Apple, Amazon, like, I'm sorry, bro, but like chances are they're not. Some are. But there's a lot of zombie companies, guys. Like, we had a lot of money that was in the economy for the past 2 years, and now that money is being sucked out. So you're about to see who can stand on their own 2 legs. Me and Saban just want to make sure that people who watch our show are prepared. So grind on the side, guys. Grind on the side. take care of yourselves. Like, take Sundays and Saturdays off. It's cool. But Mondays to Fridays, maybe you work 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 7, you're doing your own stuff. Like, commit to helping yourself, and you will thank us later, or yourself.
Some sort of personal branding. Work on it. Make sure that you're
Yes.
not completely in a situation where, if unfortunately you do get laid off or the company even shuts down, sometimes that's been happening more recently in the economy as well. That you're not just completely in a terrible situation where you're like, what am I going to do next? I mean, I was freelancing. I had opportunities that I was still actively doing after getting laid off, and I was still wondering, like, what am I going to do next?
Exactly.
So, like, be as prepared as you can be. Set yourself up in a situation that's good. Don't waste all your money right now. As much as I do love my Pokemon cards, I've been buying less of them because, just make sure you're safe. Make sure you take care of yourself and build that personal brand. That's a
Yeah,
huge thing.
huge, guys. Like view when you work something that not a lot of people are talking about this because the creator economy, while it has been around for a while, people are still learning about it. People don't look at content, in my opinion, the right way. Every piece of video you make, every thumbnail you make, everything that you create can be used as an asset, right? So think about like every video that you make, Sabin, as like as a stock, as a share of stock, or poker chips, right? These are all like clips in your ammo that you have that you can deploy, that should everything go to hell, you own something, right? So you want to make sure during your career, your tenure at your company, you're building something of your own that you can take forth with you after everything burns, right? Because eventually that sun's gonna blow up, guys. It's gonna blow up. What's your plan? No, we like, again, guys, like, cool. If you're in a company that's completely secure, great. If you don't want to grind it, fine. And if you're one of those people that just got laid off and haven't been building a personal brand, don't worry. Like, I don't want you guys to be worried either, because I've seen people who can go from 0 to 100 very, very quickly. So if you were impacted by layoffs and you have a creative ability to make something out of nothing, give us a follow, because we will give you actionable tips on how to monetize your skill set in this economy. It's gonna get rough, but we're gonna give you guys the tips and tricks to get out of some really tough times. And if you don't believe us, then you can just watch what we're doing, because, like I said, we are 0 salary, and we're gonna build this in a recession. We gonna do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, we
Yeah.
talked about kind of like how to process being laid off, kind of how to prepare for being laid off. We got Sabin's immediate story after getting laid off. Sabin, we got like 15 minutes here of like filling some space. Like, where do you want to go in terms of like layoff, OddManOut, content, protection, like anything in that realm? What's on your mind?
One thing I think important to mention that does seem really intimidating, but take it with a grain of salt. It's just something we should all be taking into consideration. Is that with all of these layoffs and with all these companies getting rid of a lot of talented people, remember that now there is a lot more competition in the game. There are a lot more
Yes.
people. They're gunning for your spot. And while there are tons of spots, the creative industry, there's so many places for people to fit in. They're going to be going for more than likely the same ones you're going for. Like, if you know of them and that they're good enough that they were let go of a company that is already well established, they've now got that on their resume, and they're probably in your same industry if you're following them and trying to learn from them. So
Yep.
take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, everybody's got their own benefits. I've been hired for quite a few pretty reputable companies, even though I'm sure there are plenty of people who have better stuff on on their resumes who also applied for those same jobs. But so don't sell yourself short. Make a reel. Okay, the reel has saved my
Yes.
life. Okay, so many people have been making them recently, so now it's even more important to have a way to promote yourself great. But watch out for the new individuals out there in the industry. Don't take it too hard if you can't find an opportunity right away. There's so many people looking for
Yes.
opportunities. There are not a ton of opportunities right now. Like right now is like the lowest point. So
We're in the bottom of the bear market. For anybody who doesn't do
yeah,
stocks, a bear market is when everything is down, but we are at the bottom of it. Maybe not the exact bottom. It's still got some time to go down. Building on that, So Saban just said that like now everything is about to be very saturated with like very talented people. So let's use 100 Thieves as an example. Saban and I were talking about this before we went live. So think about it. 100 Thieves just had massive layoffs, 3 weeks ago? So that is about anywhere from 20 to 100 new creatives who have 100 Thieves on their resume, who are going to get hired very quickly. So now what I want to get into is how can you stand out, right? Like how has Saban stood out against all of those people is really incredible in my opinion. Um, and that's something that like I've been in Saban's ear for a while. I'm like, get on LinkedIn. I was like, stand out. So here's how to stand out against the heaviest of competition. Ready? This is it. Build your personal brand on authority and authenticity. Authentic branding is going to be like the change, right? There's a shift happening on YouTube where we've gone through the Mr. Beastification of everything. It's all fast-paced, retention-based content, but there's a new wave of content coming through where it's all about authenticity. So it's slower paced, it's more narrative driven because your audience wants to know more about you. They don't care that Saban can edit videos. They don't care where Saban edited videos for. That's the foot in the door because they see that Saban's editing for some cool brands. But what the people really want to hire you for is you. So when you're building your own brand, make the content that you're good at making, but also leave room in your content strategy for like authentic pieces of getting to know you. I'm working with a YouTuber right now. OddManOut has clients. Like I'm already consulting with this YouTuber that I'm mentoring right now. Even he does tutorials for web development, right? And that's great. His channel is all loaded up with amazing educational content. All he has to do now is get people to like him as a person. So his content strategy for the next couple of weeks that we're working on is just introducing who he is, his thoughts, why he does what he does, the value he wants to provide, because then he has a deeper sense of purpose that the audience can latch onto and join him for it. So OddManOut does a similar thing where we constantly say what we're trying to do. We want to empower as many creators as possible. Cool. Now that you guys know what we're trying to do, if that resonates with you, you will latch onto that goal, and it becomes a community endeavor. So build your brand, build your authority in the space. It's really important to be an expert. But what's even more important, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be a decent person, right? You have to be willing to put yourself out there, build an amazing community, and it's not a one-way street. When you're posting on LinkedIn or Twitter or TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I don't care where you're posting, everybody hits the post button, and then maybe like the top 20% respond to every comment, but there's only like 5 to 1% of people who do the next step. That's even more important. You have to go engage with other people's shit. You have to be celebrating what everybody else is doing and empowering other people. And it all comes back. It's just karma, right? Like good karma, what goes around comes around. I'm on LinkedIn every day, like celebrating people's wins. Saban's always commenting on edits that are really cool, even like from like orgs that are competing against his in gaming. He's still out there and engaging. So like build not only your authority but your authenticity, right? And be yourself. I wear hoodies. I'm not going to wear a suit now that I'm a founder. I'm just not going to do it. And I'm just going to keep saying like what my mission is, and that's to help as many content creators as possible, not be scared and struggle. And now that you guys know it, you can latch on. So being your authentic self. Saban, anything to add to that? We're just trying to give tactical stuff that you guys can do today.
Those were all great points. I think also, making connections, don't burn your bridges is another huge thing.
Oh,
you never know who's going to come back to talk to you. Like, I know there are people who I'm just learning about now that Danny's known of for like 4 or 5 years in the industry.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine, any number of things. Like, dude, there are connections everywhere. Everybody, it all comes back around, especially in a small industry like content creation, even though there's so many people in it. It's a tight-knit community once you really start getting to the professional level of it. Don't burn your bridges over stupid shit. Try to be as supportive as possible, learn, grow, don't compare yourself, just be supportive. Honestly, that's like one of the biggest things. I made so many connections by just like not being an asshole and being like, wow, that's really cool. How did you do that? Right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
not being an asshole is huge. To give you guys the flip side of the coin, I am the asshole. So me and Saban talked about this. It's funny. I don't mind it. I like to kind of be the anti-hero. It's just like the role I like to play. But I do put myself out there in more of a brash, assertive way, and that's not for everybody. But that is what is authentic to me. Like I don't sugarcoat things. And what's more important to me is having people that follow our brand who I resonate with, because I don't want a million fans who disagree with half of what I say. I want
Yeah.
100 fans who are like, I fuck with you heavily, and I don't have to censor myself. I don't have to change the way I am. We can succeed in where we like to be, you know? So, yeah, just I like to provide the flip side. I've been canceled,
Yeah.
maybe soft canceled a couple times this month, you know? And it's
And
because
I
I'm
think that's
trying
more
to
important,
yeah,
you
and I'm
know?
trying to provide value, and not everybody's gonna resonate with your message. Like people think I'm mansplaining, and I've been put on blast for a couple of things. It's fine. I'm just not for those people. But you don't know who you're for if you're not being yourself, because you'll always be
Exactly.
lying and putting up masks. So
And there are a lot of people who make it by being themselves, no matter how brash that is. Like, look at
yeah,
Keemstar. Keemstar is like one of the worst people on the internet, and he's been here for like fucking 12 years doing the same shit.
right, right. You'll find your tribe. Like you will find
Right?
your people, or your people will find you. But what will burn you out faster is not being yourself. You will literally feel like you're burning and ripping apart in half if you're trying to appease people that you don't believe with. Like you don't believe the same things. Um, so yeah, like build your authority, be authentic. Get on social media somewhere. Pick a platform you like. You know, Saban likes Twitter. I am not as big on Twitter. I like LinkedIn now because I guess I'm a boomer. I don't know. Um, but be everywhere. Be where you want to be. Don't do what everybody's like. I think that's like what I want to kind of end this episode on. There, the reason why everybody is doing the Mr. Beastification of YouTube is because that's what all the gurus are saying. That's what all these growth experts are saying. That's what is working. And that's fine. You'll get a lot of followers doing that right now. But if you want to sustain yourself in the creator economy over the long term, you have to start building what works for you now, right? I cannot keep up with that style of editing and that style of video for more than a year. I can already tell you guys, our videos will never be like that full time. We can't. Like, it's just not what I like. Saban doesn't like editing that. He always gives me the hardest time on notes, which is fine. It's because it conflicts with like what we believe, right? So do what's working. You can imitate art. That's great. Kind of like figure out your way. But the sooner you find who you are as a person, as a creator, the faster you're gonna find your tribe. So that's what I'll leave you guys with: being super authentic. You're not gonna get a million views. Like me and Saban are not going viral, but we're getting thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
views. Right, yet we're figuring out, but we're getting thousands and thousands of views on only YouTube Shorts because we're speaking to an audience who truly understands what we're trying to do. Right? I'm not trying to get the Mr. Beast crowd because they want to see people win $1 million, and I don't have $1 million, so I need to go to people who don't want that. But yeah, that's what I'll leave it on. Be you and start finding what works. Spend half of your time doing what you know works, like do your Mr. Beast style videos, but spend the other 50% of your time building something that you know you can do for the next 3 years. And that's what I'll leave
Yeah.
that out. Saban, last words on being authentic, and building.
Yeah, I mean, stay true to yourself, do what you enjoy doing. Something that I'd recommend is if you're looking for work and you're a creative, work on something for yourself. Like, I don't like brand building much myself. Most of my brand building personally is just from doing other stuff for people and then being like, I did that. That's
Yep.
my brand. But I've been trying to like make content for myself and just creatively fulfill myself in that because not only is that going to help build a brand for myself, but also I can try new editing things. I can improve on my own work and some of my own stuff that I've done for myself. I even added to my reel because it's just unique stuff that I haven't done for any clients that I think
Mm-hmm.
is still really possible that I could do. So yeah, be true to yourself, work on your own brand a little bit, even if you hate it. Make a brand out of something that you think you could see yourself doing long term. Like long term, I don't know if I could see myself making tons of content videos, but long term, I could see myself being like I'm the guy who edited this. This is how I edited this. This is why I did this. Which is
Yeah,
why I like talking about editing stuff on podcasts.
I love that. Sabin, where can people find you on the internet? Last words to close out, and then we'll wrap it up with some housekeeping for people who can't
Right
see the
there.
video. Remember,
At
we're
Just
going audio
Sabin.
experience.
Shit. Okay. At Just Sabin on Twitter. Also at Just Sabin on Twitch if you want to see me get funky
yeah.
on a live stream. And then I guess Sabin Neil on Twitter or on LinkedIn. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to be official.
There we
You want to
go.
send me
You're
a
plugging the
connection
LinkedIn.
request.
I love it. I love it.
How about
well,
you though?
Yeah, well, I want to say thank you for being on the show, Sabin. As always, you're an amazing
Always an
co-host.
honor.
You can find me at Danny B Social, but that's not as important as following OddManOut on everything. Again, this is now my business. So if it fails, it's on me. So at OddManOut Studio, yes, Sabin is to blame. So follow at OddManOut Studio on YouTube. We now have a LinkedIn company page. Please go drop that a follow. What's really important, guys, is if you subscribe to our newsletter. I will be creating a whole new workflow for newsletters. We're going to be giving you guys tons and tons and tons of value in those newsletters. But yeah, follow OddManOut Studio on everything. We have tons and tons of announcements to come. The next episode, guys, is next Wednesday. Let me get the date. Wednesday, February 22nd at 10:30 a.m. Sabin and I will be live for another session. What I want you guys to know is that this is all done live. We're on Twitch right now and on Facebook. So if you ever have questions and you want to talk to us, please come join our show at 10:30 in the morning. When we get to the end of a podcast, we're going to be creating a VIP-only after show where you will be able to one-on-one ask any of our guests or us questions, like in the moment. And that content will not be found anywhere. That will be exclusive for anybody who tunes into the show. It's still free, but you got to just be here at 10:30 on Wednesdays. So make sure you guys, just show up. Again, we're OddManOut Studios. We are now officially a business, and we're excited to empower the creator economy. Guys, drop us a follow if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. Share it with a friend.
Woo!
Do everything because all of this helps us make money. Maybe. It's not monetized yet, but keep sharing so we can get monetized. Soon, guys. Episode 10 is next week. I can't tell you more because we don't know yet, but episode 10, we're going to be giving away free shit. Yeah. So episode 10, guys, if you're a content creator, digits. Yes, we have survived. We're making it through the gauntlet. Episode 10, we're going to give away a bunch of free shit. We're offering workshops. We're going to give away spots to our workshops. We're offering VIP access to our Discord. All of that happens on February 22nd at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You don't have a chance of winning if you don't come to the live recordings. So with that, guys, show up. Yeah. Show up. We love you. Thank you so much. Again, we appreciate your guys' support. Keep on creating stuff and hit us at OddManOut at oddmanoutstudio.com if you need to get in touch with us. All right.
OMO Podcast.
OMO Podcast, baby.